What if I told you one of the easiest ways to make more sales is to just dig a little deeper? Okay, that's what we're going to talk about today on Sales is Easy. My name's Devin Gall. I'm your friend and mentor in business, marketing, and sales. Let's get started. This is the seesaw of the sale, okay? And we're going to cover some of what we already know, and we're going to dig a little bit deeper and understand the underlying structure of how the sale is actually going to go and how you can tilt more sales in your favor easier and doing less of what you've been doing, okay? So let's start at where, like, we all know there's two sides to the sale, right? Here's the reasons you should buy my product or service, and here's the customer prospect's objections. And a lot of salespeople, they're focused on these two things, and usually these two things. A lot of times they're focused a little bit more over here, the reasons to buy. They have all the great reasons to buy the product or service, and then they're learning on how to eliminate the objection, okay? Or the multiple objections the customer has. So it's kind of like once we reach a certain tipping point, the sale happens or the sale doesn't happen, right? So the idea is you want to, if you got a bunch of objections and you want to stack on a bunch of reasons to buy, right? You want to add more reasons to buy, and you want to eliminate or re-educate those objections your prospect might be having, right? So let's cover how to do this. A lot of us know how to do this, right? So when they have an objection, remember, an objection is not a no. An objection is usually a buying sign. We use what I call the ARC method. You agree with them, or you acknowledge that their objection is valid. You relate to them. Other people have felt the same way. I'm glad you brought that up. Other people I sign up have asked me that same question. Relate to yourself. I felt the same way before I started. And then you close them, asking for the business or moving the business forward. Basically, you're educating them. You're re-educating them, right? And then you get your reasons to buy. The main one a lot of people are over-focused on is benefits of the product or service. You build curiosity, you build impulse, you build trust. You use some closing tools like your fear of loss, your urgency, your greed, your indifference factors. So the idea is you got more reasons to buy, and you eliminate their objections, and then the seesaw tilts in your favor, and you got a sale, right? Well, have you ever noticed that sometimes you can eliminate all their objections and you can have every freaking reason in the world to buy, and then the seesaw still isn't moving? They're still not selling. They're still telling you they need to think about it. They're still telling you, wow, you're really great at this. Can I call you next weekend? I got to do this, that, the other thing. Well, because the underlying part of this seesaw is what's called the action threshold, okay? This is the fulcrum, okay? Fancy word for like the little thing the seesaw is balanced on, right? And a lot of people don't realize this, because this is not normally the setup. It's not an even Steven type of setup. It's usually the fulcrum's over here, right? And the further it is over here, the more they're in denial. They're in denial of what? Their pain, right? So if we can move their action threshold here, action threshold just means like, when will they take action, right? What's the threshold you have to cross for them to sign the contract, for them to do the deal, right? So you got to take them out of denial and increase their pain, or maybe just their pain awareness, because they're still in pain over here in denial, but they're just used to it, right? This is like cable companies. Hey, I mean, honestly, almost all companies. You're on a subscription plan, right? What do? They raise the bill $5, $10, $20 every 6 months, every year. What happens after 7 years? What happens after 10 years? You're paying double, but you've never moved because you're like that frog in boiling water. These companies are very smart. They figured out if they don't turn up the heat, they turn up the heat just a little bit, you don't move, right? So you just stay in denial, and you stay in this part where, it's just how it is. This is just how things are. This is my lot in life. I have to accept this, right? So before I go into increasing their pain, right, or what's called the pain funnel, amplifying their pain, let's just use an analogy real quick, right? For yourself, okay? So you got your vehicle, you got your car, your truck, whatever it is, and you have a trusted mechanic. So if anything ever goes wrong, this is for most people, you have a mechanic that you've been using for years, and you trust that mechanic, and you'll take it to him. There actually might be someone better. There might be someone that's a better service and a lower price. You just don't know about them, or you don't trust them, or maybe they don't have a great attitude. There's just some reason you're not working with that person. Instead, you're sticking with your trusted mechanic you've known for years, okay? Now, let's say, hypothetically, you're on a road trip. You're 300 miles from home. You have a mechanical breakdown on your vehicle, right? You got your family in the car. Now, you need a mechanic right now. So your pain is through the roof. Your action threshold is way over here. You don't like this mechanic you have to go to. You meet him, you hate his attitude. You don't like anything about the place looks weird. Everything's just sketchy AF, right? And you just don't trust this guy, nothing. But guess what? You're in so much pain, you got to get your family out of this situation that you have absolutely no reasons to buy from this guy except for one: I need my car fixed right now. I need my car fixed right now. So you can have all the objections in the world, but your pain is so high of like, I gotta get out of here, and I gotta get my car fixed, and I gotta take care of this. So I have all the objections. I have little to no reason to buy except for one: I need my car fixed. The sale has to be done, right? Action threshold's been moved all the way over here. You're in massive pain. You can't go to the mechanic that you trust because he's 300 miles away. This is what people miss when they're making a sale. They focus on the objections. They focus on the reasons to buy. They don't understand the underlying cause of what is causing a person to actually buy. It's pain. It's always pain, okay? They can be in denial of pain, which is a normal thing. Most people that are in pain, that's a coping mechanism. How do you cope with pain? You deny it, right? How do we pull them out of that denial? One easy way to do it is to feel the pain for them, okay? So we'll focus on like money, right? How much does that cost you each month? They tell you it's $3,000 a month. And you just repeat whatever they said with a scrunched up, crazy face and some emotion behind your $3,000 a month? Did I hear you right? Is that what you're paying for your current product or service? Right? So feel the pain for them, right? They've been in denial for so long that they forgot that they're supposed to be in pain, right? So other ways to do this. Asking questions like, wouldn't it be nice if? Didn't have to pay $3,000 a month, right? Whatever it is for that level of product or service that you're getting. But it's called future pacing, asking them like, hey, wouldn't it be great, just hypothetically, wouldn't it be great if you didn't have to pay that much for that level of service? Relate that pain to other pain other people have felt. Other people felt this exact same way. So I'm glad I'm talking to you right now. Keep digging deeper. You dig deeper by like hanging out over a specific issue, right? And just asking questions about that issue over and over. Not the same question, but you just keep digging deeper. Well, how does that make you feel? Like, have you done anything to fix that? Or, well, that seems like a lot of money. Or, Next is you're feeling the pain for them every time they answer this question, right? So again, they're going to be in denial. So you have to bring them out of denial by feeling that pain for them, just like the first example. What do you usually do when that happens? Outages or shortcomings or shortfalls or things that they've just got used to, like the product just doesn't work at certain times or whatever, and then just dig deeper. So what do you usually do in that situation? So how does your business cope with those kind of issues? Like, do you have like a backup plan, or are you using something else, or are you using a secondary service as like a backup in case that service goes down? You're amplifying the pain. Every time you dig deeper and amplify the pain, they come out of denial more and more because their pain is getting increased and they're becoming aware of their pain, right? So now you can eliminate less objections because they're in what's called an emotional state, right? That's the whole goal. Ever heard people buy an emotion and justify with logic? That's the scenario. You get them in a highly emotional state of pain, not because you want to hurt them, because you want to help them, okay? But the reality is, if there is no pain, there is no gain. If you put your hand on a burning stove, you're going to pull your hand away, right? So if they're not feeling that pain, they're not going to pull their hand away, right? So our job is to help them realize how much pain they've actually been in, right? And how their current product or service maybe has been taking advantage of them with all the rate increases and the rate hikes, and not providing less service in certain circumstances. Then you don't have to eliminate so many objections because they're already they're looking for a way out. They're looking for a way out, right? You don't have to give them so many reasons to buy because they're looking for a way out, because they're in massive pain now. So focus on the underlying structure, move their action threshold out of denial and into pain, and you will see more conversions, more sales, more commissions. It just works. Appreciate y'all coming down. Have a great rest of your day.